session. There is nothing to report at a closed session. Next item on your agenda is item 4A, report at a closed session. Again, nothing to report. Item 5, hearing of the public. This is a time and place where members of the public can address the board on any matter that is not on the agenda. Is there anyone here wishing to speak to the board? Please come forward. So you have to hold the red button in until the whole bottom turns on.
Yes, ma'am. Adam Kisloff, born and raised in Banos. Attended all years of my education through the law of Banos school district. It's a product of my environment, or a product of Los Banos. My main concerns is isolation. I started having rumors said about me and being isolated when I first came here. It's don't make eye contact, don't get involved. And so the isolation, it seems to be programmed. We're talking about school shootings. Is primary source Jordan Peterson talked about is the isolation of mass murders, is isolating. And it's it seems to be like a lottery or a death pool to see who can make someone crack. And I feel very victimized by that. Another thing I would like is CAD drafting. I took in Los Banos High as a CAD drafting course by Tom Post, ROTC's G+2 programming. It was a simple computer lab, nothing extravagant, just regular basic. I would like that CAD be brought here for me, myself.
He's talking about his concern during school shootings and that he feels isolated.
Very much desirous to fulfill that in my certification. Also, mycology is something that's very interesting too. Is the how to save humanity through mycology insurance. I would very much like to start a mycology club if you would be able to do that to me for the sciences. Grinding up trees, specifically from landscaping businesses, and mycelia, pushing mycelia into turned soil and growing mushrooms and being able to sell mushrooms. Also, the Mecha Club is having fruits and vegetables being available through farm pickers that they pick fruits and vegetables from the field and bring them straight home. If washed fruits would be able to be, if not just sold, but if those who can't afford to give them some fruit and show that Mecha loves you or have the same Mecha parts to you. Very much appreciate my opportunities to come here. The secretary, she's the one who enrolled me. My counselors, they did not even put me on a track. I'm one of the people who have slid through the cracks. And I know I am. The secretary, she enrolled me. My counselors, they wouldn't even do it. And so her, Lynn, is the reason why I'm still unable to have an education. And so I thank you for that faculty leader. Is the most wonderful person there that I could tell you is just absolutely wonderful. My name is Adam Kisloff, and I thank you very much for being here.
All right. Mr. Kisloff, thank you very much. And as you know, this is a time for public comment. So even though we can't necessarily engage, I will ask President Vitelli to perhaps through Vice President Mike McCandless, make sure that we don't lose track of Adam. And so thank you very much for your comment.
AMC, they were today in their group meeting. They were talking about the creek that is pretty filthy, and 6 ways to save the environment through mushrooms. They were mentioning the way of burlap sacks, but mycelia cultures, and in just 24 hours, it reduced the toxins 1,000 times over. Here, Los Banos is originally known as Bear Creek, and we're in the epicenter of Bear Creek. Here, this is Bear Creek. It shows that a lot of the chicken park. There's the bats that I love very much. They're here in the creek, under 152. And when I go to visit them, it seems that the farmers will chase me out so that I can enjoy the echo sound. and it's very soothing. And if a science teacher can come here and see that it is an endangered species, and a brainchild of mine was because the wildlife has been so destroyed by malathion, is having bat boxes, or making bat boxes, so that we can profit from all the insects and mosquitoes that arise here in the wildlife. We used to jump frogs in the mountain, but she's dead now. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. And there's no more frogs. There's no more wildlife.
Well,
and so just the amount of money to be generated through that guano, through the eating of insects, would be phenomenal. And thank you very much.
okay, well, thank you. And so that's slightly beyond what the board has the authority to do, but you've certainly got an audience in the room. Okay, so anyone else here wishing to speak on the matter? Okay, all right, thank you, Adam. Moving on to agenda item number 6, additions or changes to the agenda. Mr. President, are there any changes or additions? Okay, thank you. Item number 7, Los Banos Part-Time Faculty of the Year.
As you know, that April is part-time faculty, and not just for Merced College, but the state of California, so we always like to honor our part-time faculty. Since we're in Los Banos, we do the one for Los Banos here, and then we'll honor the others in May when we have the board meeting in Merced for the Merced part-time faculty. So the one part-time faculty we have here, I don't see him in the audience, but for Los Banos, they chose Tim McNally. He's a part-time instructor here at Los Banos for over 18 years, teaching things like microeconomics, macroeconomics, history, and other courses. He's been very committed by his work ethics, always being on time and working on materials in the lab. And one of his colleagues made a comment that they want to be like him when they get old. You know, have good work ethics.
Well, that was almost a compliment.
Sorry, yeah, because of his work ethics, his personalities, and he's a good person too. So Tim McNally is our part-time faculty of the year for the last
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Clark. Mr. Mitchell? So even though he's not here, Mr. McNally certainly has our congratulations. And so, Dr. Latham, if you'll pass on the board's congratulations, Professor. Thank you. So now we're on agenda item 7B, the Los Banos campus update. So, Dr. Latham.
All right. Well, welcome.
You're always a very good host. Your staff and everything's always very smooth, so thank you.
Well, you are welcome. I have the very best staff that there could be, and so I like to brag on them. They've done a fabulous job of getting things ready for you. Okay, well, let's not waste time here. I know you guys have had a very busy couple of days. I am going to talk just a little bit about enrollment and some enrollment challenges and how we've been working on those. We will briefly mention the food forest, since I know many of you have already been out there, talk about the electric vehicle charging stations. We'll have a few words about Dr. Joe Cox, and we also have some announcements. Looking at enrollment trends, you know that almost 10 years now I've been showing you that graph, right? The graph with the line goes up and the line goes down. This time I'm not showing you a graph. I'm showing you lots of words. Anyway, we're down, as is the entire district, down in terms of enrollment. And so one of the things I wanted to share with you is just a little bit of a look at why, what happened exactly, because we have more students. You know, why are we down? So truly the main things that were going on with enrollment in the spring are really due to program changes at the district level. So we have some discontinued programs in the English and reading area. Now those are changes that are absolutely needed, and we are being forced to do that at the state level anyway, but they did have an impact on how many full-time equivalent students we're serving here. We also had a change in the computer literacy requirement, and overall that negatively impacted the number of students that we're serving. We just have fewer classes now than we did before. But we are down by 30, so what did we do right? So about half of those losses in enrollment were offset by adding other things, particularly things with labs. Adding more biology sections, putting in new programs like an EMT program. And then we actually had better enrollment and retention in a lot of our classes than we had in previous years, and that really helped offset some of those losses from program changes. We also, as you know, have added a Success Center, which we didn't have here before. We had a very small tutorial program, and we've just taken that seed and expanded it out to an interdisciplinary learning center, a Success Center, and it's actually generating about 10 full-time equivalent students more than it was in previous years. So we expect that outcome to be similar in spring. So even though it looks a little grim at the beginning, as you dig down a little deeper, we're pulling together different ways of serving students. Instead of having the extensive English curriculum we had before, we're doing other things that are bringing students in. One of those includes a whole new program that we're working on with the help of the Strong Workforce Grant downtown on G Street, and that's our welding program, a welding technology program. That welding program will be starting in August. We are hot in the middle of getting everything set for that. There's quite a bit that goes into it. One of the things that we'll be able to do as a supplement to the welding program is to run things like those CAD classes that Adam was mentioning earlier. The first go around we'll be doing a drafting class that's reading blueprints, but after that we can move on to CAD classes as well. And this is the seed of other things to come and something our community has really wanted to see. Just a quick look at what that might look like. We've got a little classroom and then a lot of, a $500,000 worth of welding equipment from the Strong Workforce Grant. It's going to be fabulous. Okay, so the members of the board went out and planted a tree down in the food forest before coming in here, supplementing the trees that were planted on earlier in the month of March. So we are just about there now on getting all of our plantings done on the food forest. We're about 80–85% done now. We're hoping to have a ribbon cutting ceremony coming up very shortly. We'll keep you guys involved in that and have you come on out for that. Oops. I do have, come on out, batteries back. No. Anyways, where do you want to go? I'm trying to back out.
I know what picture you're trying to get to. Yep, there it is.
Okay. I was going to say, wait, no, we have some fabulous pictures here of people out. So we had a variety of board members, as you can see up on the top. We got in and got dirty. Joe Gutierrez and I. Many thanks to Brian Tassi for his help and the tree partners as well, Jim Williamson for providing the equipment to plant all those trees and the expertise. So this is not the only thing that's going on campus. We are also unveiling the electric vehicle charging stations that PG&E and San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District, all right in one breath, we had a grant with them to put these in. Paul Baxter's been leading the charge from the administrative services side, pun intended there. And we're just getting to the point now that the infrastructure is in and we're getting ready to set up the software and other things to get those going. So it could be really a big plus for the community. We have a lot of traffic going by and we'll have faculty and staff and potentially students will want to use these as well. Okay, so Darcy, if you want to give us a quick student services update, we'll finish this up.
All right, good evening. My name is Darcy Kipnis, the Director of Student Services here at the Los Banos campus.
Our staffing is complete, just with the new addition of our SSSP technician, who is going to help facilitate students as they transition from high school into their college experience. So it's been exciting to have a full staff. In addition to that, we're going to be offering some CCAP AB288 classes under the direction of Dr. Ann DiCarlo.
And Darcy, can you come up to the podium?
Sure.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Sorry.
Just address the board.
Yes, okay. CCAP classes, the AB280 under the direction of Dr. Ann DiCarlo, Dr. Brenda Latham, and Greg Soto. And then we have had some office relocations lately. We're going to be moving to better assist and help students. Some of our offices have been relocated here in Building A from our student services area to down the hall. Financial aid is being relocated with the help of Dr. McCandless. And then Office of Relations with Schools, Career and Transfer is now being housed in a separate area as well. We're hoping that with the increased foot traffic, it will be help in assisting students to utilize those resources that are available to them. We have a few upcoming events that we're very excited about. Blue Devil Preview Days will be on Friday, April 27th from 9 to 12:30. We anticipate about 255 students from the local high schools coming on our campus and enjoying a great day where they can register for classes. They can also take advantage of some of the support services that we have to offer, and they can take a look at the campus facilities and have a nice day and lunch with us. We're also going to be in partnership with the Merced County Office of Education, Migrant Education, and the Educational Leadership Foundation out of Fresno. We're going to be hosting our second annual Migrant Family Conference on Saturday, April 28th, where we're going to be hosting local agricultural families who work in our area during the harvesting season. They're going to be coming on campus, and we're going to be looking at having different workshops for them, actually focusing on communication, educational resources, and then local resources as well. In addition to that, we will host our Merit and Award Ceremony on May 11th at 6 p.m. That's a wonderful time where students can come in and they can see what scholarships they are a recipient of, and also we honor the students who have graduated from our campus. So that's some wonderful upcoming events that we have. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Latham.
All right.
Thank you, Darcy. And of course, board members are encouraged to attend these events. We really appreciate you coming out and allowing our students to feel your support. I want to close today by mentioning Dr. Joe Cox. Dr. Cox is a friend of the Los Banos campus. It's really central to bringing Merced College to Los Banos. We know Dr. Cox for his exploits as a submariner in World War II and in the Korean conflict. We know of his many achievements as an agricultural educator, including a national championship. We know of his many, many achievements in being an educational leader here. What you may not know was that Dr. Joe Cox was actually the very first to be working for Merced College for the district. He was the coordinator of the instructional program in Los Banos beginning in August 1968 when Merced College took over from Modesto Junior College as the college provider here in town. So he was also, from that beginning, an avid supporter through the years of the Los Banos campus. He came into classes with us. He was a fabulous person and is much missed here in town. Okay, with that, I'll turn it back over. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you very much. And I know that honoring Dr. Cox had been on this board's mind for at least a few months, and we were very sad to learn that in the midst of us planning a recognition for him that he did suddenly pass away. So I'm going to ask Trustee Gutierrez to say a few words, because I know that he was more connected to this issue than I was. So.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Cox was a good friend of mine and a good friend of the community. and I didn't know that he was one of the pioneers to bring a college campus to this community, and very involved in education as not only a teacher, a high school teacher, principal, superintendent, school board member, on and on, you name it. And when this campus was built here, he brought his group of, because he was in the in the Navy with the submarines, so he brought some monies and fellow submariners, and they planted these trees around the campus. And he's got little stands, little plaques with different, I'm not sure if they're different submarines that they were involved with during his time in the military. And as he finished his book, this photo up here that this photo is the cover of his book, and he was very excited to start his book because he was already like in his 90s, and with the help of an assistant that he had, Annabelle Coleman, she'd come to me all excited about Dr. Cox getting his book going because that kind of gave him life. He was starting to give up. He would walk around campus every morning, and every time as I took my daughters to school for like 12 years, his steps would be shorter and shorter and shorter as I see him walking the neighborhood. And I knew eventually that Dr. Cox would not be with us eventually, but I didn't expect him to go as soon as he did. As we're planning his recognition, I was hoping that he would be in the room, because since we talked about it in our February agenda, we lost him, I think, early March, a week after the meeting. So we owe him a debt of gratitude, and he is missed, but he leaves behind a big legacy. So thank you all, fellow board members, for having us honor Dr. Cox, and we have a resolution, I believe.
Which is the perfect way to move on to our next agenda item, which is, very appropriately, a resolution honoring Joseph A. Cox. And I know that we had expected that maybe some of his family would be here, but do you see them in the audience yet? Okay. Well, we certainly, honor the work that's come, and a lot of what we see here today is because of him and people like him. So with that, Merced Community College District has presents Resolution 1811 recognizing Joseph A. Cox as a leader and supporter of the Merced Community College District. So for those of you here who know his family, please pass on our certainly our condolences, but our excitement at having had such a leader like that lead our college. So as you can read it here, I'll just read it quickly. Whereas Joseph A. Cox was a longtime resident and community leader of Los Banos, whereas Joseph A. Cox was a farmer, veteran, teacher, principal, and local leader in Los Banos, whereas Joseph A. Cox was an educational advocate and supporter of secondary and post-secondary education for the Los Banos community, whereas Merced Community College District expanded post-secondary offerings in the Los Banos area due in large part to the leadership of Joseph A. Cox. Therefore, let it be resolved, the Merced Community College District proclaims its appreciation and admiration to the late Joseph A. Cox and honors his legacy as a champion for bringing Merced College to the Los Banos community, passed and adopted this 10th day of April 2018 by the governing board of the Merced Community College District by the following vote. So at this time, I would ask for a motion approving this resolution. Okay, we have a motion by Trustee Gutierrez. Do I have a second? Second by Trustee Ochoa. Any discussion on the item? Any public comment on the item? Okay, call for the vote. Trustee Gill, how do you vote? Okay, Trustee Gill votes aye. Okay, motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. And Trustee Gutierrez, thank you for bringing this to our attention, and please pass on to the family our appreciation. We'll now continue to agenda item 8A, Constituent Reports, Academic Senate. Ms. Clark?
Hello, so thank you first to President Vitale for helping us host the Area A meeting back on March 23rd. So the Academic Senate has us broken up into different regions. We always have meetings in October and March, which we always like to go out to other colleges. So next year we'll be going to like College of the Sequoias and then West Hills College of Law is what we're looking at. But it's always an opportunity to let other people come and see our campuses. Thank you, Dr. Cordova and Dr. McCandless, for paying for somebody to go to this spring plenary, which is this week. So Caroline Dawson will be the next Senate President. I will be going where they'll be talking about a bunch of different things like guided pathways, AB 705, online education initiatives. So it'll give us an opportunity to send more than just one person to the 7 breakout sessions we have every time. But we'll be able to bring back information. At that point, there'll also be statewide resolutions on various things like AB 705, the funding formula, the online college. So that'll be statewide things. So a lot of stuff still going on. Like I said, this month is part-time faculty of the year for the colleges, and then we also will be doing other activities like updating our bylaws. It's this time of the year, getting senators for next year. So you know, and still of course working on all the initiatives going on at the college level. So still lots of things going on.
All right, thank you, Ms. Clark. Constituent item reports, Merced College Faculty Association, Mr. Mitchell.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So success stories will be back in May. I wanted to take this time to talk about 2 issues that Julie mentioned, which are the online community college and the funding formula. So I actually had the pleasure of drafting a couple of resolutions which will be, have already been distributed statewide. What we in CCA, the Community College Association, are asking faculty to do is to bring them to their associations, their academic senates, and their boards of trustees for passage. So we are definitely all on the same page when it comes to the online community college. The main thing you need to understand about that is that they will be competing with us for students. I would like to read you the resolution, and I brought copies. My hope is that the board will draft a similar resolution, and you're free to completely steal mine if you like it, for consideration for the board to bring back in May. So I hope that one of you at the end of the meeting will ask that that be put on the next agenda. Please write it down. So the resolution on the online community college says, whereas Governor Brown has proposed a completely online 115th community college in his January budget proposal, and whereas the California Community College's Chancellor's Office would be the employer of record for the proposed online community college, which is a violation of the California Constitution. That's not how Prop 98 funds are to be used. And whereas the budget bill language proposes that this college would be staffed entirely by part-time faculty, contrary to AB 1725 and its intended commitment to full-time faculty, and whereas this college would not adhere to California's collective bargaining law, and whereas the 114 existing community colleges already offer robust online programs, and whereas the online education initiative is designed to give students across the state access to distance education programs offered by all participating colleges, And whereas the OEI is still in its infancy and should be given a chance to succeed, and whereas the $120 million that is proposed to fund the online community college will go a long way towards strengthening existing distance education programs around the state, therefore be it resolved that, for example, the Merced Community College District opposes the governor's proposed online community college and urges the legislature to reject it in favor of alternatives involving existing community colleges. So I hope, like I said, that the board will pass that resolution or a similar one in May. I also have one on the performance-based funding formula, which I will not read to you in the interest of time. But basically that has been tried in other states and it doesn't work. What it has led to is no improvement in completion of associate's degrees. It actually, in some cases, has decreased the number of associate's degrees that are offered in favor of short-term certificates. So I hope that the board will read these and consider bringing back either these or similar resolutions in May. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Mr. Mitchell, we did have over our 2-day board retreat, representatives from the League of Community Colleges came to speak with us, and we did appoint an ad hoc group to look at these issues and bring back a resolution or something to us for these issues. So your suggestion is very timely, and the board has already looked at that. So we thank you very much for staying on the cutting edge.
All right, and I thank you for your advocacy.
Okay, next we have Classified Senate.
Thank you. Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
President, trustees, and the membership asked me just to read an upcoming event here, and I'll have a flyer, and I'll pass it over after I'm done to the secretary, so you have one, and it'll also be emailed to you also. And it says that in honor of Classified School Employee Week, California School Employees Association, Chapter 274, at Merced Community College will be celebrating its annual staff breakfast on Tuesday, May 22nd, and barbecue lunch on Thursday, May 24th, 2018. These annual events recognize the dedication, hard work of each of our nearly 275 classified professionals and their commitment to each student's success here at Merced College. These essential staff members perform a wide range of vital services for students, faculty, and administrators. This extraordinary workforce keeps our campus safe, clean, and organized. Most importantly, classified professionals strive to improve the lives of our students every day. Therefore, we would like to recognize the commitment to our community and its continued success. On behalf of the California School Employees Association, Chapter 274 at Merced Community College, you are cordially invited to attend the festivities as we honor our classified professionals who are the backbone of our institution. Won't you please consider showing your appreciation by not only attending these joyous events, but also helping to serve? And it's just an invitation, and I'll pass over the flyer for you.
Okay,
It'll also be emailed.
May 22nd and May 24th, right?
And by the way, this is a Senate bill also. It was passed for the statewide for everybody, all campuses and schools that wish to participate.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. We'll be on the lookout for that. Okay, next we have a report from CSEA.
That was CSEA's. That was CSEA. He stood up.
Classified Senate. Oh. Anyone from the Police Officers Association? For the Management Association? Shelley, fine.
Good evening, members of the Board of Trustees, President Vitale, and members of the President's Cabinet, as well as all of the audience members. I wanted to start tonight by personally congratulating Tim McNally, who is an excellent choice here at the Los Banos campus for part-time faculty of the year. I've had a chance to work with Professor McNally as he implemented for the first time ever our course to teach some of our students about how to become citizens and how to pass their citizenship exam. And as you can imagine, that effort was really well received here on the Los Banos campus, and we're very grateful to him for pioneering that effort. And I know it is a well-deserved honor for him to be recognized this way by his peers. The Management Association has been very busy, although spring break just ended. That's a time that we all kind of buckle down and get a lot of the work done that we are too busy with our students to always have done for the coming year, the scheduling and so forth. But we've been very focused on the Guided Pathways Initiative. We've been very focused on learning as much as we can about the implementation of some of the new legislation, AB 705 and others. And we're looking forward to a very successful commencement coming up. It's the last little push before our students enter the final exam part of their semester, and then the fun begins with commencement at the end of May. Our Management Association members will be learning more about Guided Pathways at our upcoming meeting, and we have an open forum on Guided Pathways on Friday of this week during the lunch hour. So I know that we'll all be looking forward to participating in those efforts to help move that important initiative forward on our campus. And I know you all have had a very busy couple of days, so we'll be brief and have a great evening.
Thank you, Ms. Connor. Next, Associated Students of Merced College, Mr. Camacho.
Good evening, Board. I'd like to first start out by complimenting the plant cell. For the last 3 years, my mom has gone to the plant cell, and every year she comes back just super excited and happy, and she shows me pictures of her backyard and everything that's growing. So just big round of applause to everyone who's involved in that. As always, I'm happy to be in Los Banos. This is my hometown. We did actually host our ASMC meeting here from this side, and Holly calmed into Merced today. And then afterwards, I had the chance to talk to some of the Los Banos students. As you heard, they would like to see CAT or drafting classes here on Los Banos campus. The other issue brought up was the water. They said the water's not very good here and throughout Merced County. And I asked them how many water refill stations they had here, and they said they only have one, which is right outside that door. And main campus has multiple, so if we could get some more of those here, that'd be great. And as always, ASMC is advocating for better and more suitable food services available to the students here at Merced College, or Los Banos campus, Merced College. Last month, the Metro chapter from both Merced main campus and Los Banos campus were able to send several of their students to the Metro National Conference in Salt Lake City, Utah. They came back and said they learned a lot and got a really great experience out of that. Some other things that our clubs are doing coming up. April 12th, which I believe is this Thursday, our poetry club will be having a poetry slam, and I believe it's at 3 p.m., but I'm not quite sure on the time on that one. On April 20th, our CEO Club will actually be hosting their 6th annual high school outreach, and this is an event where they bring in high school students to the campus, and they're mostly in ROP or business classes, and they have to put together a prototype of a product and then pitch it to judges. So it's a good event to get high school kids excited about the business program at Merced College. Also on April 20th that evening, our Veterans Society will be hosting a cleanup of Black Rascal Creek, and they've invited ASMC and any members that want to go. It's on Black Rascal Creek between M and R Street, I believe. Our governing documents with ASMC are almost complete, and we'll be presenting them to the board once we are ready to, hopefully next month actually. And lastly, I just want to comment, I heard someone mention staying on the cutting edge earlier at this meeting. I truly believe, and ASMC also believes, that as an institution, Merced College should be looking into open source textbooks and open source course materials. The price of textbooks and paying for online programs to be able to do our homework is one of the biggest barriers that students face. And I think that Merced College as an entire institution should seriously consider open source free coursework and textbooks. Thank you, good evening.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Camacho. Agenda item number 9, approval of the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? If not, I entertain a motion.
I move we approve.
Okay, I have a motion by trustee Jordan to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there a second? We've got a second by trustee Upton. So any discussion by the board? Discussion by the public? Okay, with that, I'll call for the vote. Student trustee Gill, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Agenda item number 10, items to the board for discussion or action. This is the second reading and approval of board policies. So the second reading, is there any discussion? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Okay. I have a motion by trustee Ochoa and a second by trustee Gutierrez. Is there any discussion on this item? Any comment from the public? Okay, no. Call for the vote. Trustee Gill, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, the educational master plan goals and objectives. We've been working on this for a while, so any discussion on this item, or I entertain a motion?
I'm happy to move.
Okay, we have a happy motion by trustee Firth and a sort of average happiness second by trustee Lashbrook. Any discussion on this item? Okay, none from the board. Any members of the public wish to?
Is there a description?
There is there's a question whether or not there's a description, and there is. This is, it's been posted publicly on the agenda, and it's available directly, a link from our website. So with that, I will ask whether or not there's any comments from the public. Okay, with that, I will call for the vote. Trustee Gill, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Now we are on agenda item 11, which is to the board for information. Prop 39 bond oversight. Who has this item?
This is the annual report. It's posted for your review. We can certainly review it if you want to. I defer to VP Allison. Otherwise, just want to make sure you have the information.
Okay, so board, is there any questions for VP Allison on this issue? Okay, so again, a lot of these items, just for members of the public, these are emailed to us in advance, and we review them. They're also available for the public. So if there's no questions, thank you for the report, and move on to agenda item 12, reports from board members. So I was going to start with our host, so Trustee Gutierrez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to congratulate Tim McNally. He was a very instrumental high school teacher, and then retired, and then continues teaching here. So, and he's not old. I don't want to say he's old, right? He's young. So, congratulations, Tim. Excited about the food forest, and excited about the new welding program. That's awesome. So I can't wait for that to get started. I'm sure it'll be full. I got a question on the charging stations. Is there a charge But is there a fee?
Yes, there will be a fee. A fee has not been established as of yet. They're not up and operational, so that will be moving forward very soon.
All right, that was supposed to be a short. You got it. It's been a long 2 days. The tiredness is sinking in, but we had a great retreat yesterday and today. And so you're board up here, and just know that your board's working really hard, and you really are. So we learned a lot. It was an awesome retreat. Thank you, Madam Chair, and your committee for putting that together.
My pleasure.
I'm excited about the food forest too. I was a little bit in on the planning early and permaculture principles and things like that. So even though it looks a little bleak right now, and in a year or 2 or 3 as those plants grow, it'll transform itself and become somewhat at the college. And there'll be good fresh fruit to eat. I also did go to the plant sale, and that is, we have some amazing staff and facilities on campus, and more to come, it sounds like, with great people planning what will best serve our community and our students. So put that on your calendar next year. I mean, it was March 31st this year, but they do a really good job. I'm looking forward to all these graduation things we'll be doing.
Good evening, everybody. Although I don't know Professor McNally, it's always heartwarming to hear all the awesome things that our faculty and professors are doing here at Merced College. So I'd like to congratulate him, and I'm also looking forward to the Merit and Awards ceremony on May 11th here at the Los Banos campus. I attended last year, and it was very inspiring and heartwarming as well. And thank you to Dr. Latham for the wonderful tour of the food forest. It was my first picture ever of a groundbreaking ceremony with a gold shovel. So, yeah, I'm proud of that today. And yes, we did have a very heavy last 2 days as far as the information we received. Definitely information overload, but it was great. Every single minute of it was great. Time well spent, and I'd like to thank Dr. McCandless, and Dr. Cordova, and Dr. Coletto for a wonderful and complete presentation on guided pathways. And we also had Jill Cunningham as one of our presenters as well. And we talked a lot about our foundation and how we can improve it, as well as public relations for the district. So thank you very much, and also great job. And I really enjoyed also the presentation by the CCLC, and we had the pleasure of having the president and the vice president of the league. And I do want everybody to know that I understand and see that all this legislation we're talking about, SB 705 and the new funding formula, that is definitely at top of mind for all of us up here, and we're going to continue to be heavily involved with all of the things to come as far as that goes. So the board retreat was definitely time well spent the last 2 days.
I do want to congratulate our adjunct professor at being honored. Having been an adjunct of Merced College for 25 years from the beginning, I am very excited that you are now recognizing the great part that adjunct professors play in making our efforts successful. It was wonderful to be at the board retreat. It just reaffirmed, as we heard some of our employees give us insight, that we are indeed a great institution, and we are being very blessed by the quality of people who are coming on board to serve and help the league. My final comment would be it was exciting to hold a shovel again and be part of a dedication experience. I only got to do that once when I was on the city school board when we broke ground for a new school. So congratulations to Los Banos. I see nothing but better days and improving days and exciting days for this campus and for Merced. And so thank you again. It was great working with my fellow colleagues for the 2 days. I never cease to be amazed at how much there is to learn and how exciting it is when we get a chance to be together and learn. Thank you.
I feel a day late and a dollar short. I want to apologize to the board and the people of being late today and having to miss the 2-day conference. I'm between 2 houses and don't know where anything is. And hopefully by next month I'll be all straightened out. I want to congratulate Professor McNally. And I'm really sorry I missed the food forest, Brenda, so maybe I can sneak over here someday and take a look at it on my own. Because I would have liked to have seen that. Hope everyone has a good evening.
Thank you, Lauren. I'd like to report back on the Women's History Month event that we, ASNC, hosted last month. It went very well, and we had one of our student organizations, Foodies Farming and Fitness, who catered for the event, and so that was great. Also, Dr. Harvey presented some really great information to us about International Women's Day and feminism, and I really appreciated her presentation. Also, ASNC is hosting Culture Shock. That will be next week on the Merced campus in the quad. There will be games, prizes, food, and other fundraisers, so if you'd like to come out and support any of our student organizations, you have an opportunity to do so. Also, our student government elections will begin April 30th and last until May the 4th. All of our officer positions are open, so you will see some fresh new faces in a couple of months. Also, Cody mentioned earlier that the veterans are planning a community cleanup on one of the pathways near one of the schools in Merced, near Rivera in Merced, on April 20th from 4 to 6. And I do plan to be there to help clean up the creek. It's right behind my house, and just seeing it in such despair is, it really calls for action and really makes me consider just the repercussions of our actions. And I know that we don't always think about the environmental impact that we have, but we do share the environment, and so we should be conscious of our behavior. I'd also like to congratulate Tim McNally. I had the pleasure of being in his high school classes and his government classes, and just really want to congratulate him. And also just extend my appreciation to all of our dedicated faculty, part-time and full-time, just on behalf of the students. So thank you, and that concludes my report.
Board President Ramirez, if I may. I would be remiss if I did not also thank Joseph Allison for his presentation. He also did an excellent job in going over the funding formula and how it affects our FTS. And President Vitale was also part of that presentation. So thank you very much. I mean, I learned a ton of good stuff. So again, thank you.
Thank you. Just a few things to report back on. I got to go to the GLI conference. That was very, very good. This year it was held in San Antonio. They had a very good presentation on guided pathways and what other states are doing, and how even Alamo colleges in San Antonio have really been able to increase the amount of awards, certificates and degrees that they award over time, and how Guided Pathways has really helped them. They've done some very innovative things that I think might be beyond what we can do here, but I did get a lot of information on meta majors and just things that I think are going to be really positive for students. And so they're a little bit further down the road than we are, but it's certainly exciting to see what Guided Pathways can do. My family and I attended the plant sale, and it was very nice. We showed up at like 10:30, and people said all the good stuff was gone. There's a lot of stuff gone, but we still got really good stuff, and the plants are thriving in our yard. So I told them that I remember, being in that class and planting those flowers. And it was rewarding, and it's nice to see that that's still happening. May is an exciting month for the college. We have graduation and lots of good things coming up, and it's just it's a great honor to be a member of the board. The 2-day conference that we just had was very informative. Last year we had a conference that was very successful. It was a lot of getting to know each other and the dynamics of the board, and forging a way forward together. This time it was all heavy lifting, budget and Guided Pathways and the foundation and the governor's proposals and legislation. But all those help us become better stewards of the college. So thank you for everyone's participation. And I know that Jean couldn't make it, but I have a lot of information to give you, so I'll do that. So I'll thank everybody for their comments and move on to agenda item 12B, Superintendent President. Mr. President.
Okay, I'll be brief. It was a wonderful 2 days. Thank you to the board members for all of your hard work and rolling up your sleeves and learning about the legislation that's impacting our community college system, budgets, and a whole slew of other areas and initiatives that are happening at a very fast pace within our system, and I'm very pleased with the direction that the Merced Community College District is headed as we align with many of the best practices that community colleges have and are adopting throughout the nation. Thank you for approving the framework for the Educational Master Plan, the goals and objectives. I want to publicly thank all of those who are involved in the task force. I know several of you are here. Dr. McCandless chaired that task force. I know Julie Clark was on the task force. Who else in the audience was a part of the task force that's here? Dr. Kane and Dr. Latham and Arliss. We had a very robust task force to work on these goals and objectives. We work very closely with our consultants. Now we get to develop the action plans to move the district forward in the next 5 years and create a facilities master plan that will mirror the goals and objectives that you all have approved. And we're looking forward to that process. Graduation, as a reminder, is May 25th, and hopefully that's on your calendars. It's been earlier this year in the evening, not much. But I believe it starts at 6:30 this year, 6 o'clock this year. So we'll have the reception a bit earlier, but make sure that's on your calendars. We'll be sending out information to all of you accordingly. There are several ceremonies that will happen between now and the end of May. I will be sending those to your MCCD emails as they are brought to our attention, and hope that you will be able to attend as many as possible. High school visits are happening. Many of you have been attending some of those. The updated schedule is in your inbox, so let us know if you need more information or would like to attend some of those meetings that are still remaining. And I will mention, since we're here at the Los Banos campus, that we are actively looking into a solution for food service. In fact, looking at putting in a mini market into the existing lounge here. And that would provide quite a bit more food options for the students of Los Banos. And we're looking at that as an option to have in place by fall of 2018. So by the start of the fall term, we hope to have something in place. We know that is a long time coming. We know it's a gap in services, and we want to make sure we provide that. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, President Patelli. So with that, we're at agenda item 13, future discussion items from board members.
So are there any items that the board would like to see placed on the agenda? Just as a reminder, we can always put things on, just reach out to me, but if at this point you have an idea, we're certainly open to them. Trustee Lashburn?
Basically what we've already set up committees to look at, and I'm not sure if we'll be ready to vote on them, but on the work, the analysis we've done on the online community college and the performance-based learning.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. And just as a reminder, that was something that not as a reminder, we talked about that, and so thank you for agreeing to be on the ad hoc committee, Member Lashburn. Okay, with that, we will move to agenda item 14, second closed session. In this case, there is a second part of the closed session, so the board will be retreating into the second half of the closed session. After closed session, we will come back into regular session to adjourn, but this is probably the end of the substantive part. So with that, we will adjourn to closed session. Thank you. Yeah, so let's be there in 5 minutes.